What's up, YouTube? Prof Sales coming at you with a video. Today is Friday, June 30th, 2017. I hope you guys are doing great out there in YouTube land. Hope your Friday is off to a good, fabulous Friday, fantastic Friday, whatever alliteration you want to use. But we are off and running on the show here. So this is the Prof Sales channel. If you guys have never been here before, then you will be in for a treat, hopefully, and hopefully you will learn something you can take with you and use. So we talk a lot about mindset, we talk about tools, we talk about beginnings and so on. And we're actually, I'm going to be covering some more around those topics in a moment, but we'll jump into it here in just a second. So let me know if you guys can hear me okay out there. This is a live vlog. Make sure the sound is well, and we'll hope that it's for the best. I never can tell unless you tell me. How's everybody doing today? Let me know in the chat how you're doing, how your week's going, how your business has been going, and maybe how you're feeling. So all those things. So anyway, you will notice my sidekick Karen is not here with me today. She is stuck at a government office. You can probably guess which one, and she just is not going to be able to make it back in time. But she gives her regards, and I'm going to try to hold up the show without her, although that's pretty much impossible. So looks like our sound is good. So that is a nice to hear. And some people are saying their sales are up, which is great. So sales are up. Up is, as a friend of mine likes to say, up is up. Penny, dollar, 10 million, up is up. Always a good thing. So we are off and running, but I'm going to jump into the show topic here for a few moments, and then we will get into some other stuff. So let's go into it. So I want to talk today about this idea about categories on eBay. And the category is just a brief definition, just, this big set of listings or area that you could sell in. All right. And a lot of us on this show and this channel, we all sell in different categories. Some are in clothes, some are in electronics, some are in video games. And so this is not going to be a discussion about which category is best. It's more going to be a discussion about how do you figure out if you want to sell in a category or not, given some certain criteria. So I thought I would share that because we don't really talk about that much. So let's jump into it. So the first thing you're going to need to do if you want to explore a category on eBay is you're going to have to research it. Now, I'm going to show you an example of this research here in just a moment, what you can do. But you're going to need to look in eBay's search window, and you're going to need to go in and type in what category you think about selling. Maybe it's Beanie Babies. There's a blast from the past. Maybe it's Legos. Maybe it's any number of things. And that's going to give you some information about that category. And here's what you should look for, I think. So the first thing you want to take note of is how big is the category? How many listings are out there? All right. Now, why is this important? Now, this is where people get tripped up. Some people think if there's hardly any listings, there's no competition. That's true. However, there may not be many buyers either. It just may not be a big market. Not always necessarily true, but a lot of times if there's not a lot of listings, it indicates a smaller market. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't necessarily sell in it. It just means that you need to take that into account, that with a smaller market, there's probably less buyers, which means items may sit longer. Just in general, not a hard, fast rule, but in general, that may happen just because it's not as many people are going to be searching for it. On the other side of that argument is if there's a tremendous amount of listings, like when I look at jeans on eBay, there can be 2.5 to 3 million jeans between men's and women's. That's a lot of listings. Some people will think there's too much competition, which is possibly true, but possibly not. Anytime you have a larger market, there's usually, different tiers of sellers. There's some people who are doing a really good job with it. They're writing great titles, great descriptions, great photographs, all those things, and they're killing it. And then there's a lot of other people who are just throwing up anything in that category and hoping it'll sell. Maybe they're settling for lower profit. They're just trying to move volume. But a larger category, guys, indicates a market. Now, can a market get flooded? Of course it can. It can, but it's unusual in a big, huge market for it to get flooded. And here's why. Let's say that your category you're looking at is 1 million listings. And let's say that all of a sudden another 1,000 get added. That's only a 1% increase, right? Excuse me, 0.1%. Man, I can't do math today. So that's not a very big increase. Even if it was, say, 10,000, you're only looking at a 1% increase. That would dilute the market a little bit. But it's such a big market, it would take a lot of people would have to come in all at once, either a lot of people or a few people with an awful lot of inventory. And because of the nature of eBay, that's not easy to do. It's not easy to flood a market with a lot of listings. Now, you may have a lot of quantity on a given listing, but to flood it with a lot of listings is difficult because you've got to take the time to create those listings. And even if it's a very automated process, it still takes a good amount of time. On the other hand, let's say that the total number of listings on eBay is 1,000. If 10 people flock to that market, you know, that's still a 1% increase as well, but it's going to feel like a few more because depending on how that category is broken down into subcategories, when someone searches, those new 10 might come up in their search before your listing does. So it's easier for a smaller market to get flooded than it is a bigger market. Now there's all sorts of caveats to that rule. So I don't want people to go away and say, well, Prof said, you know, a bigger market can never be flooded and a smaller market will always. I'm not saying that. But you need to keep that in mind that flooding a market on a platform like eBay is not as simple as it is in other platforms, say like Amazon, for instance, where you're all listing against the same ASIN. All right, so the size of the market's important. You need to keep that in the category. New to used ratio. Here's the second one. And you can quickly scan down the list. You can sort by new, you can sort by used, and just see. And this is not a right or wrong answer, but if there's a lot of new items, then chances are people are probably shopping for new items. Now, that doesn't mean you can't sell pre-owned. It just means you need to take that into account. On the flip side, if there's a lot of pre-owned in relation to all the items, then a lot of people are looking for pre-owned. Maybe it's not even made anymore. Maybe there are no more new ones. Excuse me. So the new to used ratio matters because depending on what sourcing you can get, if you can get a lot of new and there's a lot of new listings, that might work. On the other hand, if you're getting a lot of new, there's a lot of used, that might work in a different way. But you need to take into account, well, what is it that's making the used, the pre-owned, more prevalent than the new? Is it a vintagey type thing? Is it a collectible type thing, a collectible type situation? It just depends. But take that into account because that's gonna make it. You're gonna depend on your sourcing spots and what you can get. Can't even read my writing here. All right, so the next one is your photo specifics. And what I mean by that is look at how people are taking photographs and what they're doing, because you'll want to emulate the ones that sell because that's kind of the standard that people are coming to see. Like, for instance, with jeans that I sell, the butt shot is a very common shot because a lot of people, especially women, want to see, all right, well, what is my butt going to look like in these jeans? So if you didn't include that shot, you might be putting yourself at a competitive disadvantage, which you obviously don't want to do. So you want to kind of take a look and kind of see what are some of the best practices with photos. Doesn't mean you can't go out and do something a little different, but it's something to consider when you're looking at a new category. And then finally in this part is the pricing. What's the pricing? And what I mean by this is, what are people, you can sort the list by high to low with the pricing and kind of where do the averages fall? Because let me give you an example. Let's say that you have you can get sourcing for an item that's $10 your cost, but people are pricing it at $15 on eBay, the vast majority. It's going to be tough. Like, you're not going to make much money, if any, on selling a $15 item when it's costing you $10. So that might not make sense given the price, what the pricing is going for right now. Now, there might be one-offs in the category, sure, there's always that. But I'm talking about if you're trying to turn a little volume in a category, if you're trying to put up 50 listings or 100 listings or more in it, you know, not if you're trying to put up 1 or 2, that's a little different. So pricing is important, guys. So you want to make sure the pricing kind of fits in with, you know, what kind of costs you'll be paying for sourcing. All right, the next point is check the sold to completed ratio. So how do you do this? All right, eBay has an option, and I'm going to show you all this in a screen share here in just a moment. eBay has an option that allows you to see all the completed listings within a given time frame. I think it's 90 days. And it will show every listing that did not sell and completed, and every listing that did sell, which is a completed listing as well. So on the first page, it usually you can set how many it shows, but I think you can put like 96 on the first page, which is roughly 100. We'll just round it up. So you can just count down. I know this is unscientific, but you can count down through those first 100 listings and see how many sold. So if you see that 30 have sold, you know that the sell-through is maybe somewhere around 30% within a given time frame. You could go further. You could look at the second page of solds and the third page of, or second page of completes and third page. This is going to give you an idea, guys, about how well the product sells through in a given time frame. Now that sell-through percentage is going to change if the item is seasonal, right? Clothing doesn't move as quickly usually in the summer, other than certain types, but as a rule, most of it doesn't move as quickly. But in the fall and the winter, it moves much more quickly. So take that in account too, that sell-through percentage. But it's going to give you an idea about how many of your items within 90 days, assuming your listings are as good as everybody else, and your photos are as good, and your pricing and all that. It's going to give you an idea about how well your items are going to sell through in that 90-day period. And we will get to questions, guys, but for the moment, if you have questions about the topic, just type them in the chat. Type a question mark, question mark, question mark, or the word question, and I will get to it as quickly as I can. All right, so let me show you an example. All right, so we're going to do a quick screen share. So let me pull this up. And I'm going to go in, I think we're going to do this one. I'm going to do a category we never really talk about here on the show. So hopefully this will go over well. And we're just going to go to the eBay search screen here. And you see the search here at the top. I'm going to type in here automotive. Oh man, got the caps lock on. Automotive parts. All right, so this is showing all the listings. Now, this category is about 295,000 big, if you want. And it's broken into some subcategories for sure. And this is all listings, by the way, guys. This is auction, buy it now, so on. All right? And we see over here, I know it's probably hard. I'm going to see if I can zoom in. We see right here that there is about 283,000 new and 11,000 used. Now, what does this tell us? This tells us that most of the listings on eBay for automotive parts are new, which kind of makes sense. Like used parts are tricky because they could have wear, they might break. You know, and I'm not an automotive parts expert, but I'm just guessing that's what's going on here. So a lot of the listings are new. So that would give you some idea about, all right, I want to sell auto parts. I've got a line on a lot of used ones. All right, well, the market's smaller for that, so you need to take that into account. Looks like most of the listings, too, are buy it now versus auction. Very few auctions, mainly buy it now. All right, so let's zoom back out for a second. And we're going to jump down here and see right here where it says completed listings. We're going to go to that and see what it pulls up. Now, we had 295,000 listings, and now it's pulled up 75,000 completed. Now, you'll notice that the green means that this item sold if the price is in green, and the black means it did not sell. And this particular listing is in, this particular sorting is in recent first. You could do it oldest first, price plus shipping highest first, so on, so on. But this gives you an idea, excuse me, about some pricing here. And granted, these parts are all over the place. Now let me go down here to the bottom for just a moment. And I want to see how many are in this list. Okay, so this is 50 per page. So I'm going to change this to 100 per page. If I can get this to sort correctly. My computer is not liking this. All right, well, it froze me out. Well, that's always great. Oh, there it goes. Sorry about that. Took a minute. All right, so here's what I was saying, guys. So if we go down here, you'll see that we've got 100 items per page, all right? Now, if we just wanted to get a quick sell-through count, we could scroll down through here and count. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 22, do I hear 23? 23. So on this most recent listing, guys, 23 of the 100 sold. So the sell-through percentage was 23%. Now, that did not take into account subcategories, price, anything. It just took into account what sold. It did not take into account also, we did not do new or used. Now, we could go in and choose new, and it looks like a lot more used have sold, which is interesting compared to how many are listed. A lot of new, remember we had a lot of new listed and not that many used, but when you look at what's sold, there's a good chunk of used that have sold here in the past 90 days. So that's kind of interesting to know. But if we want to dive down into this, we could go down into these other categories. Like we could look at car and truck parts. We could look at graphics details. And we could do the same thing, guys. We could go through this category and figure out the sell-through percentage. And then if we want, we can go in and do it price. Let's do price by highest first. Let's see if that comes up. So we see here in some completed listings, you know, these did not sell. People were selling, you know, car parts, huge OEM, GM, AC, Delco. Looks like this sold for quite a bit of money. A marine automotive long block. Looks like they took a best offer on 8,800. So it's somewhere between 8,800 and 5,000. Somewhere they took a best offer in there, free shipping. This sold for 3,825, pressure washer, you know, and so on and so forth. So this, guys, when you're researching a category, this is how you do it. This is literally how you do it. You will basically go through and figure out the size. I want to make sure I get them right. The size, the new to use ratio. I didn't really look at the photo specifics there much, guys, but it's car parts. You can kind of guess what you're going to photograph on there. Pricing. And then you're going to check that sold to completed ratio, right? And then you can drill down in those subcategories to find, you know, well, I want to sell new car parts, but I only want to sell car parts for BMWs. Fine, you can do that. You can do automotive parts BMW in that search. And then you can just drill down into that and see, all right, well, what kind of part, how big's the market? Is it new or used mainly? What's selling, what's not, and what are the prices? And then you can make a decision. Like there are people, for instance, who go out and buy, there's people who go out and buy, you know, car parts from those pick-apart places. You know, they'll pull stuff off of older vehicles and sell it parted out. Like a car parted out is more expensive than to build it new. So there can be value there. That's my limited automotive knowledge, which is very limited. So that's how, though, guys, if you were wanting to go into a whole different category, or just find a category period. Maybe you don't have a category you sell in, but you've been interested in it before, and you're like, man, I'd really like to check out Legos, or, you know, I was thinking about selling home decor. Well, let me break that down. What specifically? All right, well, what about picture frames? You know, whatever it is, that's kind of what you want to, that's kind of what you want. All right. So I hope that made sense. So leave me questions in here, and we'll just do a quick turnaround until we get into some other topics. But so a couple reminders. I'm going to ask everybody who's watching now, hey, if you haven't subscribed, the subscribe button is the first thing in the subscription that you will see. There's a button that'll be attached to this video as well down below it, but it's also in the subscription or in the description of this video. And smash the like button. I can't say it like Karin does it, but smash the like button. That's my Jason imitation, Prof imitation. There's links down below in the description as well, all kinds of helpful stuff that we use, products that we use, and so on, that we use in our business, including these great SongMics shoe racks behind me, which I know you guys are buying, by the way, because I see the Amazon associate report, so I know you're getting them. They are great little racks. They really are. So check those out too, also in the description of the video. And, you know, if you got a question right now, there was a couple questions earlier and I probably missed them. Sorry about that. You know, type it in the chat. You know, it can be about what we've already covered or anything else for that matter at this point. And we do appreciate it. So let me get a drink because that was a lot of talking. Are you full-time or part-time? Full-time, only way to go, right? Not the only way to go. Actually, most people probably start out in this business part-time. And clearing clutter, I don't worry about spiders in the shoes. Not really. They're, you know, it could happen. Of course it could happen, but you just hit the shoe a couple times and knock it right out. Yeah. And so I'm going to cover some other topics here. We'll get into some stuff. Man, I just realized I needed to write down another one. I'm gonna talk about this one right now. Last week, or was it earlier this week, we talked about reseller rehab and having some. Thank you guys for those of you who've reached out to me about being a part of that. We are going to move forward with that. It's gonna be in July. We need to get through a couple things over this next few days, but we definitely are going to do something around that topic. Having maybe some live shows, some roundtables, some other ideas I've got. So if you're interested in maybe revamping your reselling business and you're willing to come on and talk about it and expose, you know, your pitfalls and your strengths and weaknesses to the internet, send me an email at profsales44 at gmail.com. And, you know, we'll try to set up a schedule to do that. So that's in the works, guys. Still fleshing out exactly what it's going to look like, but I think it'll be a cool show. It's kind of similar to Connect, but in a different way. So anyway, does used clothing sell in the fourth quarter better than now? I keep seeing people speaking about fourth quarter sales. Yes, would be my short answer. It does. Like everything sells better in the fourth quarter. It's a mindset. It's marketing. It's all those things. And it's also weather. You know, long sleeves, pants, jeans, even just clothes in general. People start thinking about that in the fall. For whatever reason, the summer's more about, you know, shorts and t-shirts and going on vacation and flip-flops and things like that. But clothing, as a rule, used clothing and new clothing for that matter, sells better in the fourth quarter. Let's see. There's another question here. Have you ever changed your eBay store name and how did it affect sales? I have not, NC, but I don't think it really would affect sales. I don't think your store name, I don't think your store name has any effect on sales, honestly, unless maybe you're a really large seller that people search for, maybe. But if you change it, my understanding too is your old one stays up for 30 days to let sellers know that that was who you were. I don't know that it has any effect. It's one of those things, people get hung up on it, but I think in the long run, it doesn't really matter that much. You know, people don't jump on to eBay and say, man, I really want to buy something from Prof Sales. They say, I want to buy a pair of shoes, you know, and that's how they find you. What to do for buyers to leave feedback. Encourage them with your packing list, Josephina. That's what I would say. If you're sending a packing list, you're sending not an invoice, but more like a packing list to them. I put it on the packing list. Hey, consider leaving us positive feedback. And if you have an issue with this item, contact us and give us a chance to make it right. So you can sometimes head off negative feedback before it happens, but that's what I would do. I would encourage that. And of course, leave them feedback too. I think that's important. Someone says, don't ask for it. I think you should. I think you should ask for it. Let's see here. Changing your store name will affect your followers. Yeah, that makes sense. That kind of makes sense. All right, so let me talk about a couple other things here. New show schedule. So it's not a new show schedule, but it kind of is. I've been doing a lot of thinking and working around on this channel in the last couple days. You may have noticed that I changed my channel art and so on. And that's a little bit of work in progress, but I'm really trying to focus in on what this channel is about, guys, because I realized the other day somebody said, I was listening to a podcast, and they said, if someone asked you what's your YouTube channel is about, what would you tell them? And I realized I did not have a succinct, definite answer to that. And you guys in the chat and you guys watching later, you all have your own opinions, right? I mean, you go to different channels, not just mine. You watch and you probably think, well, this person's about this and this person's about that. But I realize I haven't done a very good job of always communicating what the channel is really supposed to be about. So I decided that I would do that. That's part of what's going on here. I'm kind of rebranding some things. I'm going to have a more regular video schedule too. But, you know, and somebody's saying selling on eBay. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a big part of it. But I've given a lot of time around that. So I'm going to be doing a regular show schedule 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So that's the goal now. Now, there'll be some times I might be out of town. In a couple weeks, I'll be out of town for Wednesday and Friday, so I won't be able to do a show. And there will be other shows that we do that'll be, you know, specific to other things. But we're going to have like a general topic that on each of those 3 days. So each of those 3 days will have like a general categorization, like today's, you know, how to sell on eBay successfully. That's what Fridays will be about. And then there'll be sort of a subtopic under that, like you see today, categories. On a different day, a different topic like that on Monday, and different one on Wednesday. And it'll just kind of rotate through the subtopics, but that way you'll always know what the show is going to be about, what the focus is going to be on a given day. You can set your calendar to when we're going to be on. So people would want to watch and they're like, hey, I didn't get the notification. And I'm going, wow, I should probably have a schedule so that people, you know, can know, oh, Prof comes on 2 o'clock, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I wanted to share all that with you, but these shows will be this live vlog style with delivering the content in the very beginning. Want to turn off after 20 minutes, turn off after 20 minutes. If you don't like the stuff after that, I get it. But basically the content will come in that first 20 minutes for the most part. And that will be, you know, how we're trying to rebrand the channel. So it's one of these things where, you know, I realized I needed a better approach. And basically the approach is going to be this, guys. It's going to be to help new eBay sellers find the tools and motivation they need. Now, when I say new, I don't mean that you necessarily started yesterday, although that certainly could be you. But I think there's so many people who come in and ask like very basic general questions. A great job in answering them. So that's really who this is going to be geared toward. Like today, talking about categories, you know, figuring out a category to sell in. That's important. You know, you need to decide if you want to even go into a category or not. it's not a bad way to approach business, saying, maybe I'll go sell on that. So we basically are going to focus on newer and new eBay sellers and giving them the tools and motivation they need to succeed. Those things will translate into those of you who are intermediate and advanced sellers too a lot of times, but you're intermediate and advanced, and this channel would be very focused, very narrowed down if I only focused on those things. And I don't think it would be as impactful. I just think there's a lot of people there that are kind of in that brand new category that they're thinking about starting, or they've started, but they really haven't got started, or they've only been selling for a short period of time. And maybe they're just sort of spinning their wheels, as we all do from time to time. And I just want to focus on them. I really do. So that's going to be the focus of the channel, guys, kind of going forward. I asked this question about the direction of this channel a couple months ago, and I've been thinking about it ever since then. And it takes a while to come to that. Man, I don't know who that is spamming in the chat, but I should probably block them. Just kidding, Karin. All right, so next order of business. And if you guys have feedback about that too, I'd be great to hear it. Send me a message, send me an email, profsales44@gmail.com. I love it. I do read every piece of feedback you send me. I promise. I know I don't respond to every single person because it's a lot, honestly. And it just, sometimes it comes at a time when I just can't respond, and then other things come along. But I do read it, and I do really, really appreciate it. So thank you very much for that. Let's see. So Karin is not here, conveniently. Funny thing is, I don't even know if she can hear me right now. And tomorrow is our reseller meetup. So we will, we're not going to go crazy on that. We're really excited about it. To give you an idea, we have right now 30 plus people who've committed. Okay, I'm only shaking my head, guys, because excuse me. I'm only shaking my head because when we walk into the first store with 30 resellers, this is going to be insane. So there's going to be nothing left of that store. We're all going to come out with like 2 items each. But no, it'll be cool. So we're going to go around. We're going to hit some stores. We're going to have some lunch. There's going to be some little prizes and games and things, that Karin's kind of cooked up here. I don't even know everything she's cooked up. She's so creative that way. But it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you guys have never been to a meetup, obviously you can come to ours, but it's kind of the late hour. We kind of had to, I wasn't going to address this, but we've kind of held off where the route is going to be. And the only reason we did that really is so that somebody wouldn't kind of go hit those stores beforehand and, cut down on some of the items, thinking, oh, this is some secret trove of the best stores and so on. And I don't really think it's necessarily the best stores. A lot of the route was put together more by geography than anything else. It had to make geographical sense too. But we are really excited about tomorrow. We're going to go for a good long time, and we're going to see what happens, and I hope everybody's going to have a great time. It's going to be so cool getting to meet you guys face to face. I mean, if you have never been to a reseller meetup, you should go to one for sure. This will be my first one technically, even though I've met other people and sourced with them. Purple Lily says you're going to have a live show or 2 for those who can't be there. That's a great question, Purple Lily. I don't know. We definitely will like to be, videoing people for Instagram and things like that. But we'll see how it goes. Like doing a live show, I don't know. It's possible. I guess I could technically do a Google Hangout in the moment on my phone. I've never actually done one on the phone before. I understand you can. So that would be interesting. It would have no real agenda, just we would meet people. So who knows? But it'll be fun. And if you haven't been to meetups, guys, it is cool to meet your other people out there. Reselling can be, and selling on eBay can be a lonely exercise. So it's important to connect to other people, establish a community, a network of people you can learn from and share experiences with. It's so valuable. And I treasure the people that I have like that in this community, and you should seek to make those connections if you haven't already. It's really, really important to really help you. Someone said if they're selling clothing and shoes, I do or don't do free shipping. You can do free shipping, Black Unicorn. Just make sure that your shipping is figured into the price. Shoes are tricky because if you're not doing them in some sort of fixed, like a flat rate box or flat rate envelope, they can be expensive to ship because they're heavy. So you need to take that into account. I mean, shipping a 3-pound pair of shoes across the country could be 15, 16, 17 bucks. So make sure you take that into account. But free shipping's great. I mean, there are some people who love that idea. It's kind of just a way to market your product differently because people think they're getting free shipping, but you absolutely have to have that in your selling price, as DJ said. So, and clothing is great because you can do a lot. Sometimes you can do it first class, which is really cheap. So your cost is going to be, $4 and something at the most. Let's see. Yeah. So any other questions you have too, question marks in the chat or, type the word question and leave me a question down below too, guys. I forgot to say about that. You guys have been great, like subscribing to the channel, hitting the like button, leaving comments. I appreciate it. The spreadsheet's been a success. So thank you for that. There's a link to that in the description as well. There's going to be a new one of those coming out for 2018, and it's going to be even better. So you have me you have my word on that. So I'm going to make it even better. I've taken some suggestions and I'm starting to flesh those out. So I think it's going to be really, really awesome. I'm also working on something totally different, but I don't even want to talk about that yet because if that works out, like that's a whole nother game changer, really. But we'll see. So there's still some technical things that have to be worked out there. But yeah, so somebody said they lost their shirt shipping a pair of boots with free shipping. Yeah. Oof. Boots are heavy. And guys, shipping will be probably multiple shipping shows. We're going to talk about shipping because, man, it can really put a hurting on you. And James, if you're the one who screwed up on the shipping, don't sweat it, man. Thomas is right. It does happen to everybody. Every single reseller who's been a reseller for any length of time will tell you at some point they screwed up shipping and had to eat it, and it stinks, but it is what it is. What's the weight limit for flat rate? Yeah, so actually first class is based on ounces, the Black Unicorn. Priority usually is when it's over a pound. And it depends. If you do the flat rate boxes, they have a set amount that they go for. I can't remember what the weight is. I think basically if it fits, it'll ship in those. I might be wrong. I don't hardly ever use flat rate boxes, but the padded flat rate envelopes I use quite a bit. And I think they have a 70-pound weight limit, which is crazy to think about getting 70 pounds in a space this big. I'm like, it would have to be like a thing of lead to weigh that much. But they'll ship the vast majority of items that you will need to ship. So let's see here. Last question. What's up with bookkeeping? Funny you say that, the Black Unicorn. If you will look on my channel, you will find an entire video we recently did with my accountant, Jared, who was sitting right here, this table. I think that was a week or two ago. Check that out. He answered tons of questions about accounting and bookkeeping that apply to resellers. Those will also be topics we will be covering now in these live vlog shows. I mean, we're just going to hit them all, guys. We're going to hit every topic, and then we're going to come back through and hit them all again because, things change. People see them a different way, and there's just a lot of topics out there. Flat rate is 75 pounds. Yeah. Okay, there you go. Which is a lot. I mean, Amazon, I read once that Amazon said 80% of all the items they ship are 5 pounds or less. And they ship a lot of items. So if you can get 5 pounds in it, that's the vast majority of items. And like shoes, are there shoes that weigh more than 5 pounds? Maybe, but not many. Clothing would be also a very, I don't think I've ran into a piece of clothing that weighed 5 pounds. I mean, I guess a big coat could weigh that much potentially, which I don't really sell coats, so could be. Yeah, so shipping is one, guys. I hear you. It's on the list for sure. I mean, we're going to cover that different ways, different types of shipping, how to, I have a cool little scale that we use. It's in the links as well. An Accutec scale. You need a scale. I mean, I'm telling you, if you're going to ship things and you're going to sell a lot on eBay, you should get a scale, because nothing's worse than when you ship something, and I haven't had this happen yet, but I know enough people who have. Nothing's worse than when you ship something to a customer and they have to pay the extra postage because you didn't put enough on it, or it could even get returned to you. So that is not cool. And you can imagine if you were a customer and you paid for shipping or whatever, or it said free shipping, and all of a sudden this item shows up at your door and they're asking you for money, you're not gonna be too happy about that. So definitely, you definitely don't want to screw up shipping, and you don't have to. Shipping really doesn't have to be as complicated as we make it. But for some reason, a lot of resellers and people on eBay, they get very flustered when it comes to shipping. And I'm telling you, it's not as complicated as you think. So the bottom line is, you don't necessarily want to make money on shipping, but you don't want to lose it either. People want to buy something. There's an expectation they're going to have to pay to ship it. Even when Amazon has free Prime shipping, that's not free. I mean, they paid for a Prime membership. So a little chunk of that is going towards that shipping. And Amazon knows that. They've done a math calculation and said, hey, the average person is going to buy this many items a year, and it's going to cost us this much to ship them. So if we make the Prime membership this high, we still make a profit. They're not stupid. So there is no free when it comes to shipping. So it's such a misnomer, but it sounds great for people. So I guess that's why so many people use it. And I've used it too. What in the world you guys took? Okay. All right. I couldn't keep up the chat there for a minute. Yeah. Regional boxes, someone was mentioning too. I am not up on regional boxes. So that's an area I probably need to learn a little bit more about, for sure. So, we'll see, if that, but, yeah, so any other topics that you guys have, please share them with me. Share them in the comments down below. And, I appreciate that, because, to produce content, 3 shows a week's 150 shows a year, guys, and 156, I guess, technically. It's a lot of content, and to come up with fresh topics or fresh approaches to them, it's not always easy. I'll be honest with you. So I appreciate it when you guys give me topic ideas, and I do take them to heart. And I keep lists. I probably need a list of my list sometimes, but I do keep a list of them, and I go back and revisit them. Somebody sent a minute ago, explaining the bulk edits system on eBay. That would be a great topic for eBay 101. Mondays will be eBay 101. That will be the main topic. Actually, yeah, or even that could be in this show on Fridays, how to sell on eBay successfully. eBay 101 is probably a little more general. You're not going to be doing a lot of bulk editing in the eBay 101. That's more for people who are really new. So we'll try to keep topics along there. Hey, Katie, what's up? Long time no see. He doesn't understand reselling, but loves to watch Prof sales videos. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I'm like that too. There'll be subjects I don't really understand, but I'll watch a video about them, It's just kind of funny. Let's see. Storage. You have all that inventory in your play? Yeah, absolutely. Storage. Yeah, storage and inventory, guys. Those are big, huge topics for sure that we need to talk about. If you're running any size eBay business, like once you get up to 100 items or more, storage and inventory becomes a real challenge. If you're selling items of any size, and obviously if you're selling like, baseball cards, those don't take up a lot of space. But if you're selling anything with any size to it, clothing, shoes, even video games, things like, it starts becoming a thing. So storage and inventory will definitely be on this list of things we will be talking about. When I ship shoes, I put the box in a large mailing poly under 2 pounds and use the package category, and my priority is less than if I use a UPS shoebox. Large mailing poly under 2 pounds and use the package category. Yeah, that's interesting you say that, CG, because what I typically do, if it's a shoes that are under 2 pounds, it really doesn't even matter the weight. I will put on their parcel select as the shipping option by weight, and but the priority mail option package is cheaper and gets there faster. So that's what I end up doing. So I kind of under promise and over deliver for the customer. Tino taught me that trick, the Soul Advisor, and it works. It's not a lot cheaper than parcel select. It usually ends up being like, maybe 5% cheaper, but it adds up. It costs me a little less, and it gets to the customer a lot quicker. And, they're going to, because parcel select can take a while sometimes depending on where it's going, but priority is pretty much guaranteed in 3 business days. You're going to get it really quickly. So that's what I like to do. What brands are the highest sellers for shoes? That's a tricky question, and I'm probably not the best to answer that. I mean, your high-end brands like Gucci or Chanel, people like that, I mean, they're going to sell for a lot of money. But you may or may not find as many of those. Basically, if they sold for a lot new, they'd probably sell for a lot pre-owned. All things being equal. It's not always true, but all things being equal, that's it. So I would start off with that assumption that if they sold for a lot new, they're probably going to sell for a lot pre-owned. Probably. I have tons of little items and they're crazy hard to organize. I know, right? I can't imagine like if you were selling like jewelry. Like who is it? Margaret, Texas Gal Treasure, sells jewelry. She probably has an amazing organization system because she's very organized. But what it is, I don't know. Like I would struggle with that one. You'd have to come up with something very specific because jewelry's different sizes and what'll fit here won't fit there. So that's kind of tricky. Let's see here. All right, people are talking about other different types of things. Maybe a meetup in July at the Orlando Bins. A meetup at the Bins. Now there is a meetup. The Bins has got its own brand of crazy in it. So to have a meetup at it would just be off the chart. But that sounds like a lot of fun, Terry. So it sounds like a cool thing if you end up doing it. Somebody puts jewelry in baggies, James says. Oh, well, that makes sense. I mean, baggies and bins. Okay. So you got to just, I mean, yeah, I'm sure you figured out. It's not rocket science, but, that learning curve at first. Troy Thomas says, hey, Prof, you going to the green room meetup by chance? I am, Troy. I will be there. I will actually be speaking at the seminar on inventory of all things. And so I will be there starting Wednesday, that Wednesday, the 12th or whatever it is, a week from this Wednesday. So that's why I won't have a show Wednesday or Friday of that week. I'll be in Austin at the Green Room meetup. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun, cool event. There's some people in there that I've always wanted to sort of meet and connect with in person, and now I'll get that opportunity. Tino is going to come up. Luke, Endless Entrepreneurs, is going to be there. He's actually my roommate. So Charlotte's representing there in Austin. And it's going to be fun. I can't wait. So professional groups and meetups like that are really awesome. And I can't wait to go do it. So I'm definitely looking forward to that event. It's going to be hot, but it's probably going to be like 100 degrees in Austin. So yeah, so if you're in the Austin area in the week of, let's see, when will I be there? I'll be there July, what the heck will I be there? July 12th through the 16th. Hit me up and we'll try to connect if we can make it work. If I can pull Tino, true story here. So Tino offered to pick me up from the airport, guys. And I was like, oh, cool. And I think my plane, I don't remember when it gets in, sometime in the morning, but he said, hey, so can we go sourcing right away? I was like, man, this guy, which actually worked out because I can't check in the hotel for like 3 hours. So it's perfect. So right off, I'm going straight from the airport right to sourcing in Austin, guys. So this is going to be with Tino. So there's going to be all kinds of Instagram and Facebook page updates and all kinds of stuff. Maybe I'll even shoot a video while I'm down there and go live. I don't know. We'll see how good the internet is there in the hotel maybe. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see. Look out, Texas, Prof and Luke. I know. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, Terry. He's like, yeah, can we go sourcing right away? I mean, he literally said that. He's like, yeah, I could even pick you up. I was like, you sure, man? I don't want to put you out. He's like, no, and we can go sourcing right after that. I was like, oh, it's great. But I'm not going to say no to that because I'm like, all right, I'm going to learn about some shoes while we're there. So it's going to be great. Would our phones allow us to meet up live on YouTube? That's a good question. Don't know the answer to that. Maybe someone else does. Let's see. Carry an empty suitcase. Yeah. Yeah. You know, guys, this is an interesting. Well, I'm not even going to bring an empty suitcase. You guys, come on. This is all right. This is a reselling show, and you guys are telling me to bring an empty suitcase to Austin. What's a better solution? All right. I'm going to wait for the chat to figure out what's a better solution than bringing an empty suitcase that I have to check at the airport and pay a fee for. Come on. I'm waiting for it. You guys will have to figure it out. I'm not going to give you the answer. What are you drinking, Prof? This is by Antioxidant Cocoa Fusion. Probably a bunch of crap, but who knows? There it is. Kelly said it. Buy a suitcase of the thrifts. Exactly. That thing is going to be cheap. So yes, if I want to do that, I could buy an empty suitcase there. There you go. You guys are nailing it. Source empty. It'll be a lot cheap. I think it costs, what does it cost to check a bag now? Like 40 bucks or something like that? I can't remember. Rob a homeless man. No, Thomas, come on. Now you know homeless men don't have suitcases as a rule. But, and plus, obviously, I'm not going to rob them. Yeah, buy them at the thrift store. I could ship it back. Yeah, it's a great problem, guys. Like, I'd have to get items, you know, would be able to be put in a suitcase to go back. I mean, I could buy some shoes, but I got to check the bag. I don't know. Yeah, Katie says they give you a free checked bag if you get American Airlines card. That's a possibility, but I don't know. I love just having my carry-on and then my backpack. Problem solved. That way, if you don't find anything, you can save the money. Yeah, that's right. It's kind of interesting, guys, because I've started to think about this. It's like, how do I really source while I'm there and make it affordable, considering I have to ship it back somehow, either, you know, on the plane or ship it, you know, UPS or something. I can't think of a great solution. Or like with jeans or something like that, just doesn't make sense. Like, there's not enough profit given the weight to send back. So I don't know. I may not do. I may go sourcing, but it's going to be more to learn, and maybe if I find a home run type item, great, you know, but I'm not going to go crazy on it. So we'll see if that's true or not. We'll see what happens. Beam it back. Yeah, well, there you go. You can just teleport it. DJ's afraid of heights. I'm not afraid of heights, DJ, and I'm not really afraid of flying, but I hate that feeling of being out of control. So that kind of sucks the whole flight. I'll definitely be saying some prayers when we take off and when we land, especially when you land. That's the key. Source small items that fit in your regular suitcase. Yeah, I could. I like to do a carry-on though, Lady Halfling, so it's kind of tricky. Like, you can't put that much in there, but if someone's driving back your direction, to take it with them. It's possible, James. I don't know if anybody is. Or just get a box and ship it. Yep. I mean, I could just do that too. You know, it's just you're already out of shipping cost if you ship it back. You know, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, a good video to make. Best items to source when you're on vacation. Yeah, that's a great point, Mommy Hearts Thrift. And I don't know the answer. Usually when I'm on vacation, though, I'm driving somewhere, so I can just take my car. This is obviously different. It's too far to drive. Luke should pay for your shipping. I agree with that, Terry, 100%. And I think we should let Luke know that he should pay for my shipping, because Luke needs to know these things. He's not always up on, you know, what's going on, and this is something he should know. So if you see Luke, Endless Entrepreneurs, tell him he pay for Prof shipping for his thrifted items. I think he'll appreciate that. Try to go through TSA with an artificial leg, treat you like a criminal. Well, whose leg was it, Thomas? No, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Yes. At TSA, don't even get me started, man. That's a whole thing. Take a vacation, no work allowed. No, this is not a vacation. This is a business trip. I would not be going there if I was not a member of the green room, because that's where the meetup is, for sure. Because you can't deduct a vacation. That's true. That's right. You cannot. But you can deduct parts of it. You know, Jared was talking about that the other week. And this idea that, you know, if you go on a trip and you do business while you're there are ways to deduct even parts of it. It doesn't have to be the whole trip necessarily. So, you know, take that for what it's worth and use that. So speaking of that, so I have to actually jump off here in a second, guys, because I have to go over my presentation with one of the green room guys. So that's coming up here in a little bit. All right. Last time, I'm going to ask you guys, subscribe down in the description below or the button below this video if you're watching it later. I do appreciate it. That way you don't have to go searching for a video when it comes out. Hit the like button, smash it, like Karin would said. Check out the links below in the description too. All of our gears down there. The spreadsheet link is there. A great link to one of Steve Raiken's books, Killer Clothing Brands. It's like a 3-book bundle is still there too. Check that out. And, you know, just all of our products that we use, our Amazon associate links and so on. When you guys get that stuff, or you go to those links, and even if you buy something completely unrelated on Amazon, I still get a little commission for it. Doesn't cost you anything extra, but it helps me, you know, continue to produce content on the channel because it makes it a little more worth it monetarily, honestly, guys. And I do appreciate it. Like somebody the other day went there, and doesn't tell me who. They clicked on a link and they bought, and if this is anybody in the chat, I'm just going to die laughing, 48 packs of ramen noodles off of Amazon, which was amazing, I thought. But because if you go to one of those associate links, guys, and you buy something within 24 hours, anything on Amazon, it helps out your favorite YouTube content creators. So I do appreciate that. So please consider that. If you're going to buy something on Amazon, just click on the link. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and it really helps us out. And I do really appreciate it. So that's going to do it. So we're going to be back Monday, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for eBay 101, the first installment of that. And I can't wait to jump on that. So, all right, great show today, guys. Really appreciate it. Hope you guys have an awesome weekend. Happy 4th of July, too. I realize Monday's 4th of July, but I'm still planning on coming on because fireworks are at night. So we will have some reselling fireworks in the afternoon. All right. So that's going to do it for this show. You guys take care. Have an awesome, safe, happy 4th of July weekend if you're here in the U.S. And this is Prof Sales saying good sales to you.